Following the bombing of Pan Am Flight 103 over Scotland, a deal was reached between Gaddafi of Libya and the British government in which the trial of the accused bombers would happen in a neutral country in return for the extradition of the accused bombers. The Netherlands agreed to host the trial, and so a portion of the Netherlands, a former NATO base called Camp Zeist, became a piece of Scottish land in the Netherlands. This land was part of Scotland, with Scottish police officers, Scottish judges, and Scottish law. Thus, the court established on the site for the proceedings was dubbed the Scottish Court in the Netherlands. Following the trial and a subsequent appeal, the land was ceded back to the Netherlands. But for that short time, Scotland was just a tiny bit bigger. Across the channel in the area that's always Scotland, there are two islands called Westerly and Papa Westerly. The airports of these two islands can boast that between them runs the shortest regularly scheduled commercial flight in the world. It takes a mere minute, costs £17, and travels 1.7 miles, roughly the same distance as the runway of the airport of Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland. There are a number of places also called Edinburgh around the world, but the coolest is Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. Located on the British Overseas Territory island of Tristan da Cunha, Edinburgh of the Seven Seas is considered to be the most remote inhabited place on Earth. The island is 1,200 miles from the closest other inhabited place, the island of St. Helena, and 1,500 miles from the nearest continental land, South Africa. There's no airport and no regular transport links off the island. The only way the 300 residents can reach the rest of the world is by hitching a ride on a fishing boat, and those only come 8 or 9 times a year. At 64 square miles, Tristan da Cunha is the 1,060th largest island in the world, but the 8th largest island in the world is Victoria Island, Canada. On Victoria Island, there's a lake, which is home to an island, which has a lake on it, with one more island. This tiny 4-acre island is so remote that it's thought that no human has ever set foot on it. Victoria Island, the island that holds the lake that holds the island that has the lake with this island, is slightly bigger than Great Britain, yet has a population of less than 2,000. Also in Canada, but much farther south, is Vancouver. About 22 miles south of downtown Vancouver is Point Roberts, Washington, which is part of the United States. However, you cannot get to the rest of the United States without crossing into Canada. This is because Point Roberts lies south of the 49th parallel, which constitutes much of the border between the two countries. A few thousand miles to the east, the border isn't quite as nice and straight. In Detroit, you counterintuitively have to travel south to get to Canada, America's northern neighbor. Also counterintuitively, the westernmost point of Virginia is actually more westerly than the westernmost point of West Virginia. And to finish off the counterintuitivities, the eastern end of the Panama Canal flows into the Pacific Ocean, the ocean to the west, while the western end of the Panama Canal flows into the Atlantic Ocean, the ocean to the east. And while we're so close to South America, I might as well mention that there are no bridges over the Amazon River, the second longest river in the world. This is not because the river is too wide or anything, but rather because pretty much nobody lives around the Amazon. There is actually only one bridge over any of the major tributaries to the Amazon as well. For the few roads there are that cross the Amazon, ferries connect the two sides. And to finish it off, let's head over to Afghanistan, which has a time zone of UTC plus 4 hours and 30 minutes. They're one of a few nations in the world that align themselves to a half-hour difference compared to universal time. Afghanistan shares a brief 47-mile border with China, which has one time zone for the entire country. This means that if you step across the Afghanistan-China border, you travel 3.5 hours into the future, and this is the greatest time zone change that you can make in one step on Earth. Let's start with the entrance to the grocery store. Americans in particular love shopping in the counterclockwise path. For this reason, the